Hello and welcome to Research Matters podcasts. Today I, Aishwarya Viswamitra, will give you a summary of science stories that were published during this week on Research Matters. In your weekly dose of Indian science news, today I cover stories on climate science, ecology, and health. The winter has finally hit India, and many parts of the country are seeing a welcome drop in temperatures. A few months ago, some regions experienced an unusually hot summer along with life-threatening heat waves. Did you know that heat waves alone caused the death of over 8,900 people across the world in the last 4 years? If they are so fatal, would it not help to predict them earlier and be prepared to face their adversity? That's what scientists at the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Pune, perhaps thought. In collaboration with those from the India Meteorological Department, New Delhi, Savitribai Phule University, Pune, and New York University, Abu Dhabi, they have developed India's first heat wave prediction system that can forecast heat waves a couple of weeks in advance. It can also estimate when the heat wave begins, its duration, and when it ends. These predictions are made based on weather patterns seen in the summer months of March to June, when a heat wave is usually most likely to hit. The heat wave prediction system is now managed by the India Meteorological Department, and its forecasts appear on their website during the summer months. Wondering what to do if a heat wave hits your city? Well, staying indoors for the most part of the day, drinking water regularly, and avoiding protein-rich foods that increase metabolic heat can definitely help. When we talk about heat and summer months, an insect that comes to our mind is mosquitoes, isn't it? These tiny insects apparently kill the most number of people on the planet than any other animal by spreading the dreaded malaria. Plasmodium, a parasite that breeds inside mosquitoes, is the culprit in causing malaria. Did you know that birds can also contract malaria? Yes, as surprising as it may sound, many wild species of birds have been wiped out of islands like Hawaii and New Zealand due to avian malaria. Apart from Plasmodium, a parasite called Hemoproteus is also responsible for causing malaria in birds. In our backyard, the Western Ghats, teeming with many species of birds and animals, could have devastating results if such diseases strike, right? In a recent study, researchers from the Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, ISER Tirupati, National Center for Biological Sciences and CBS Bengaluru, and the University of Georgia, USA, has studied what malarial parasites are found in birds in part of Western Ghats. The researchers studied 28 species of birds from 4 regions: Baba Budan and Banasura Hills, Nilgiri Hills, Anamalai, Palani, High Wavis Hills, and Ashambu Hills. These regions are separated by 3 biogeographic barriers: the Chalia River Valley, the Palghat Gap, and Shenkota Gap. They found Plasmodium in 19 species and Hemoproteus in 20. Some species of birds like the Indian white-eye had a sizable prevalence of Hemoproteus, while the common blackbird had an increased prevalence for Plasmodium. Some strains of these parasites are endemic to the Western Ghats, the researchers say. The study also found that few Plasmodium strains infected multiple bird species, and many Hemoproteus strains infected a few related bird species. Interestingly, many Plasmodium strains were recovered from the common blackbird, which could be acting as a reservoir of Plasmodium species. The findings show that when such birds with parasites like Plasmodiums that infect many species are introduced to new regions, they could spread the parasites in native bird communities. The findings also reveal how geographic barriers and genetic differences among bird species shape how the 2 blood parasites infect birds. While we are on the topic of diseases, let's move away from the blood and look at the brain. Have you heard of a mental health condition called schizophrenia? If not, you should, because data shows that 3 in 1,000 Indians are affected by this illness. People with schizophrenia often hear strange voices or see unreal visions and even start believing in these hallucinations. As a result, they have trouble expressing their emotions or rational thought in real-life situations. Turns out, there is a relationship between what we eat and the risk of schizophrenia. In a 2-decade-long study, researchers from India and Australia have identified some genetic causes of schizophrenia among Indians and linked it to vitamin B3. Chromosomes are structures in our cells that contain genes, the hereditary material that we inherit from our parents. This study found that a particular region of one of the chromosomes was different in people with schizophrenia. Abnormalities in this specific chromosome is linked with epilepsy, developmental decay, and facial and skeletal abnormalities. The researchers found a gene in this chromosome that was linked to schizophrenia. The identified gene is involved in the production of an enzyme that helps in the metabolism of niacin, or vitamin B3. The study found that this enzyme plays a key role when the young brain is forming, implying that there may be differences in brain development in healthy people and those who have schizophrenia. While the seeds of the disease might be sown early on, schizophrenia only comes to the fore when there are some environmental or age-related triggers, says the researchers. If you're on a vegetarian diet, here's some news for you, as the study found that a higher number of schizophrenic patients had a vegetarian diets. A vegetarian diet lacks tryptophan, an important amino acid used by the body to produce another chemical vital for mental development. The lack of niacin and tryptophan in the diet may increase the risk of schizophrenia, so watch out for all the legumes and fish in your diet. The brain and its maladies are mesmerizing and gives rise to figments of imagination, like the exposure to gamma rays creating the Hulk, a superhero character in the Marvel Universe. How practical is it that we are exposed to such radiations? A new study by researchers from Sainath University, Ranchi, and Bharatiyar University, Coimbatore set out to explore this. The researchers studied soil samples from the pristine Nilgiris of the Western Ghats. Wondering what's in the soil? Well, the Earth's crust contains many elements, and among them are forms of thorium, potassium, and uranium that are radioactive. As their nucleus is not very stable, they emit weak gamma rays into their environment. But don't panic. Scientists believe these radiations are too weak to affect us. But are they really? This study calculated the radiation emitted by radioactive thorium, potassium, and uranium in the soil. The results revealed that the risk of cancer to humans is negligible, although the average hazard indices, like the Cancer Risk Index, are higher than in other parts of the world. At the moment, they seem to have no profound effect on humans living in these parts, say the researchers. That's good to know, isn't it? While you sit back and relax for the day, did you know that there were 2 significant events during the week in the Indian science community? The 5th edition of the India International Science Festival opened in Kolkata, featuring cutting-edge research from India. Multiple expos, conclaves, keynote addresses, and meetings were a part of this grand science extravaganza, which spanned for 4 days. On the other hand, in Namma Bengaluru, the Infosys Science Foundation announced the winners of the prestigious Infosys Prize 2019. 6 scientists, including 2 who are working in institutes outside of India, were honored with this award. The winners include Dr. Manu V. Devadevan, Assistant Professor, School of Humanities and Social Sciences, IIT Mandi, in the Humanities category; Dr. G. Mugesh, Professor, Department of Inorganic and Physical Chemistry, IISc Bangalore, in the Physical Science category; Dr. Manjula Reddy, Chief Scientist, Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, CCMB Hyderabad, in the Life Sciences category; Dr. Siddhartha Mishra, Professor, Department of Mathematics, ETH Zurich, in the Mathematical Sciences category; Dr. Anand Pandian, Professor, Department of Anthropology, Krieger School of Arts and Sciences, Johns Hopkins University, in the Social Sciences category; and Dr. Sunita Sarawagi, Institute Chair Professor, Computer Science and Engineering, IIT Bombay, in the Engineering and Computer Sciences category. You can read more about their individual contributions in an article on our website. Let me sign off for the week congratulating these winners. Thank you for listening to this episode of Research Matters podcast. See you next weekend. For more such podcasts and news, please log on to www.researchmatters.in.